Howdy, and welcome back to the podcast. It has been a while since we recorded. You guys have been seeing lots of episodes come out, but it's been a while since we've recorded. So I'm very happy to have both Bernice and Jose, who are reoccurring guests now. This is now Jose's third episode with us, and then Bernice's second time, and then a second time together. And today we're talking all things about nonprofits, what you guys are doing here in Las Vegas, and I'm excited to learn all about the Orozco and siblings. So thank you guys for coming in today.
Thank you for having us, my friend. Has it really been 3 times for myself?
I think so.
Wow. Oh my God. It's
3?
an absolute blessing. And I appreciate you having us on here, honestly.
Of course.
So let's talk about the Orozco siblings, actually. What is it about? What are we doing? So the Orozco siblings, it's about empowering youth, underprivileged youth. My sister and I come from a very unique background. We're immigrants. We're from Mexico. So we started on a platform that wasn't very privileged at all. So, once we grew older, we thought to ourselves, you know what? We've established ourselves to a certain point. How about we do something to inspire other people that, come from very interesting backgrounds that don't have the resources necessary to be success stories? So hence how the Orozco siblings started.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure being here. And Jose is absolutely right. It's something that it's always been, and I know personally in my heart, and I always felt that I wasn't doing everything that I could if I wasn't helping someone else. And, with our background and our beginnings, it wasn't easy. We didn't have anybody to show us a roadmap and say, hey, do this, come this way, try this, try that. We didn't have that. And so I feel like it's my responsibility to do that for some underserved youth, and so that they can also know that there is hope, that there is a way for them to find success, and they don't have to be alone.
So what are you guys doing exactly? What is the operating plan for, how are you impacting people?
So it's something that we just started a couple of months ago, actually. It started off by me being inspired through the executive MBA program at UNLV. We took a tour one day of Catholic Charities, and we got a presentation about immigration and how there's a need to have more mentorship more than anything. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we stand politically. We're all in America. We have a beautiful country, and we have to push forward together, looking beyond the surface level. So I said to myself, you know what, I'm an immigrant. Let me raise my hand, and I want to be a mentor more than anything. I want to help out. I want to shed a light on this cause, because you were telling me there's a need, a shortage of people who, are needed to inspire others. Then there has to be a change. So I signed up for that. And it was all thanks to Dr. Kim Nils from UNLV. She's the one who arranged the whole visit to Catholic Charities. So after signing up, I would go into one of their headquarter locations. And one of the directors told me one day, wow, you look really confident. How you speak, how you conduct yourself. Can you do a workshop? And I thought to myself, God, this isn't really up my alley. I've done a lot of presentations, but nothing to the nature where I'm having to, talk about confidence, talk about how to dress, how to act, and how to act in certain rooms. So I thought to myself, it's going to be a challenge, but why not? Let's give it a try. I thought it would only be in one-time engagement, but lo and behold, they actually asked me to come back on a monthly basis. Now, given my schedule, I thought to myself, this is not going to be feasible. But you know what? If I can inspire people, if I can really promote something beautiful, then why not? As a human being from where I come from, it's all about how can I make a change? How can I give back to, humanity overall, especially now where I feel a lot of empathy is lacking in our beautiful country. So with that said, we ended up partnering formally with Catholic Charities. So we're our own nonprofit, Orozco Siblings, but we're working with Catholic Charities. We have 3 main objectives. Number 1, get about 60 scholarships for these kids. Number 2, get about 40 laptops. And number 3, get about 40 mentors to help within this program. And, again, we just started this about a couple of months ago. Some may say what we want is overly ambitious, but you know what? When you have your heart in the right place, when you have a country that needs to heal, it needs to heal together, it's all about going all the way out there, utilizing our platform, utilizing our resources. And, one thing that I've talked about before is, us coming from Mexico, we had no money. We did not know English. We literally would play in the city's trash dumps because they were right behind our home. And just looking back from where we started to where we're at now, feels like a duty to talk about our experience, to talk about this is what an immigrant looks like more than anything. But you know what? People can be success stories. It's a matter of having grit, having passion, meeting the right individuals more than anything, and really pushing forward.
I like it.
Thank you.
When are you going to run for like Congress or something? It sounds like, my Lord. I mean,
Right?
Maybe one day, right? That's the game plan.
was it really? Would you ever be political?
I had a very interesting dinner with someone that I completely respect. And that's what he mentioned. And I was quite shocked that that was his advice to me. Never had I heard that before. So I thought to myself, maybe something I should consider down the line. But at the end of the day, it's about really making a change. It's not about just showing up for a picture, for a photo op. It's about how can we make an impact? And oftentimes we just keep quiet because we may be afraid to be too different from society. We may be scared to share our opinions with others. But when we open our mouth, we have so much power. We can create such a beautiful change in this world that I'm all about advocating giving our youth a powerful voice, no matter what the background is. Because again, if we can come together as a nation, my God, America is going to be such a beautiful, amazing place that, we're going to be dominant in terms of how we're seen. Because right now we're not regarded in the best light. And again, it doesn't matter where we stand politically. At the end of the day, we have a love for where we live. We have a love for our nation, for each other. We just need to be reminded about having empathy and really respecting one another.
Did you guys have mentors? Do you guys remember you growing up and having a mentor that kind of helped you along?
No, I always wish I had one. I always wish I had somebody that would, show me the way and say, Bernice, think about college, think about graduating high school to begin with, think about, having a career, not just, settling for marriage and kids, which is, fantastic. If that's something that as a woman you want to do, absolutely go for it. It's a job on its own, but, it doesn't have to stop there. And so for me, I always wanted somebody to show me the way. I didn't. So I had to find, my own path, and and it was not easy, but I did it. And so, my purpose, I feel like my purpose in life is if I can change someone's life, just one person's. And, I may not be able to ever find out about this, but just knowing that somehow I helped someone fight, that stigma that women can't be both successful and a family oriented, then I think that I've done my job in this world. So if I can just help someone, just that one person and hopefully, show them the way and know that it is possible that they can have both, then, I've done my job.
That's really cool. I think it's really, I would imagine, I don't have any kids, or nor my mom, but I would imagine it's rather difficult to be a mom and like have a successful like business career, but you've done it. And so what was the thing that allowed you to be successful in doing both of those things?
It's them. It's knowing that I want to give them a better life than what I had, and I used that as the force to push me through those difficult times. It wasn't easy, and it's still not easy. I still have the mom guilt that's very much present every single day. Because I could be with my kids reading or going to the park, but yet I am, at a networking event or mentoring someone. But it's all worth it at the end of the day. And my kids see that, and I love the fact that it's rubbing off on them. It's like, hey, mommy, can I attend your workshop? And I love it. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Come on over. Come take a look and see what we're doing, so that as you grow older, can do that for someone else as well. So
I don't think I've ever seen your kiddos, but I'm excited to see them at
you
events.
will.
That'd be wild. Sometimes I kind of forget you're a mom as well, which is crazy. But like because you're managing that, and then also maybe some really cool new things coming up in your life. Plus, which I would like to ask you about that here in a moment, or like after, maybe we'll see. But you have so much going on, plus the kiddos, and then we also see you at networking events like at Atomic Golf and stuff like that. Like you're constantly working, dude. It's crazy.
I'm nonstop, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And I have to say, I applaud you, honestly, Bernice, because you're the epitome of a hardworking mom who cares so much about her children, but you also care about changing the world. and instilling such important values as to how to be respectful, how to be empathetic, how to be mindful of other people's feelings. And again, this is something that we need. And a lot of people forget that you don't have to have a certain level of power to make a change. You can be anyone with any kind of resource, any kind of background, and really create a profound effect. I always tell people it's about throwing rocks in the pond, right? You throw one rock, you create a little ripple effect. The more rocks that you throw in there, you'll create something beautiful, something intense, something life-changing. You'll change the way the current is going. So I appreciate seeing my sister, her, shining a beautiful light as to, about immigrant stories, about empowering people, about getting along with everyone, no matter how different we are, no matter how radical we think. It's about coexisting, loving each other, and pushing each other forward. And I love working with you, Bernice. I love that.
Thank you. I love working with you
know
too.
that.
And you guys work together, like the siblings that are working together as well, which I think is also super cool. You guys have built so much together. How do you guys stay so close? I feel like my siblings and I'm like, oh my God.
How do we
It's hard.
do it?
You guys spend a lot of time. How do you guys do it?
We do. I mean, I think, we've lived together for so long, and we've learned to give each other space. So when, after we're done with work, everybody has their own space. I go to my kids, he does his cat.
My God. That's my baby
so
right there.
we've learned to respect each other's personal space more than anything, and that has allowed us to just be successful as as business partners and as brothers, obviously.
I love that. But all adding to that as well, I think we've understood now that there's a bigger calling outside of just her and I and our emotions and our feelings. There has to be a bigger impact that we have. I'll share this with you, Ben. I had one person told me that I have a very easy life. My background, and all people, get to understand or have an insight as to what we lived through, what we went through. And that comment, it literally changed my life. So I thought of myself, people are seeing just the shell. They're seeing the casing. They have no idea all the hardship that we went through as immigrants. Again, not knowing English, not having any money. And it probably sounds like a broken record. And I'm happy to sound like that because I want people to understand that this is the face of an immigrant. This is the face of people who came with absolutely nothing into this country, no resources. And we built the life for ourselves that we're so proud to have. We dealt with a lot of discrimination growing up because back in the day, it was a lot more prevalent. Things weren't as open as they are now. And, I grew up in a very hardcore religious family, and I was different. From being a child, I knew I was very different. So for me, I struggled with not fitting in anywhere. I thought to myself, I'm too different for Mexico. I'm too different for America. Where do I belong? I dealt with a lot of depression growing up. I have a lot of stories that are very sensitive in nature. But the reason why I put that out there now, because there's so much immigration happening in our beautiful country. There's so many people with such beautiful backgrounds. And I was someone that was so ashamed to talk about where I come from, the struggles that I had, depression that I dealt with, that I thought to myself, there has to be a change in tides. I want to throw a little rock in the pond. I want discussions to be had about where we're from and about the difficulties that we run into in terms of emotionally, how we feel. As an immigrant, I held back a lot of my emotions. And even though my sister and I are so close, you think that we would have discussions as to me not feeling well, feeling depressed, feeling sad. We never talked about that because we were ashamed to do so. So with the nonprofit that we have now, it's about spreading love, spreading awareness, spreading, connections, professional connections, and really getting people to understand that we can unite as a nation, unite as a country, embrace our differences more than ever, and really push our country forward. Because now it's needed more than ever. And again, I cannot stress enough the fact of me saying it doesn't matter how different we are, doesn't matter how we think politically. At the end of the day, we're human beings with the hearts, with emotions. And it's all about focusing on that, judging each other because we judge, we're human beings, but judging each other by what comes out of our mouth, what's in our heart more than ever. Anything else is just little details that need to be put to the side. We have to push our country forward. And that's a huge focus of our nonprofit and movement that we're creating.
I think what's also cool and wanted to bring emphasis to the fact that you guys are siblings and you guys spend so much time together is also not just for the kids who, yes, are immigrants, but also for the families that maybe don't have that kind of relationship. Like I look at my family, I'm like, man, I talked to my sister last night, which is great, but like I don't have that relationship with all my siblings. And the fact that you guys do, and you guys are doing something and building something together, I feel like is something that I feel like could bring a lot of families closer together. And I think that like today, maybe there's a little bit more, like there's a little bit less of the family unit, right? I think the cool thing about Hispanic culture is that we do usually live like all in one house, or we live in the same neighborhood. Like they're very family focused. And for whatever reason, I feel like that's going away a little bit. And so seeing you guys work together inside of a company and build something to impact other people, you're not just standing for the immigrants that are moving here, you're also standing for the kind of family unit or a relationship that maybe some siblings would dream to have, right? Like, or they got separated whenever they're coming over here, and you guys are here together and building something together. I think that's really special.
Thank you. Yeah, no, absolutely. And yes, it's definitely not the status quo, still being a full grown adult and living or being close to your siblings and your parents even. But, to us is very special. It's I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that definitely we want to make sure that we're making a change for people. But like you mentioned, yes, the family unit is very important. And if you don't have that, it just creates a lot more stress in your life, I feel. And so, yeah, if we can make a change on someone's life and help set an example, then absolutely. And I think that more people need to just, we're living in a fast-paced world, and we need to take a little bit of time, like, pause on your life, take a time, talk to your parents, visit your family if you don't live in the same city or whatnot, and just cherish that moment, because today is never going to come back. So why are we wasting so much time worrying about everything else that's going around the world when really what matters is what's going on within our nucleus, our family? So definitely focus on that.
I love that. And honestly, Ben, the way we are working with the nonprofit and what we're doing, it feels even strange calling it a nonprofit. It's just simply being human beings and sharing our stories and trying to inspire other people. I never really focused on the idea of how we may be inspiring people in terms of how my sister and I get along. That was never the goal. But the more that we do this, the more the people that we talk to, the more workshops and chats that we have, the more this project starts to evolve, honestly. We had been focusing strictly on youth, immigrant youth, but we were invited to an event. We spoke to 135 families from all backgrounds, people all over the world. It was such a beautiful room to be in, honestly. And one of the ladies that was there, she came up to me. She was in tears. She's 65, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this. And she's from Cuba. And she came because her daughter wanted a better life for her son. And she told me, Jose, I feel worthless. I'm 65. I don't know English. I'm struggling. And I don't tell anybody this because I'm supposed to be the strong one here. And here I am, me, Jose, standing in front of her, trying to hold back my own tears because I know what it's like to hold emotions in, especially when you feel like you're not valuable, which you are, and which she absolutely is. And I told Bernice after that, I'm like, we need to kind of change the approach that we've been taking. It's not just about focusing on youth. It's about healing and encompassing people from all backgrounds, all age ranges as well. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about being strong. It's about becoming strong, becoming the individuals we're meant to be. If we don't promote allowing your emotions to be let out in a way that makes sense, in a way that's tangible, in a way it's beautiful and healthy for us, then what are we doing? A lot of organizations, they put a Band-Aid on what they do. They'll give you something physical. They'll give you whatever it may be, but the focus isn't always on really healing from the inside out. So what we're trying to do here is create more than just a nonprofit, create really a beautiful culture of where we allow ourselves to express verbally how we're feeling, that we promote that for people, and that we encourage people to engage with one another. I have friends who are extremely conservative, friends who are extremely liberal. And when we come together, sometimes they're kind of surprised when we talk about, where we stand on certain things here and there. But bottom line is we coexist and we learn from each other. It's not about being defensive. It's not about shutting each other down. It's about listening to one another and seeing how, as human beings, we can coexist with one another, find a way to move the country forward, and really create beautiful success stories.
So what do these workshops look like?
So we have one coming up, actually. We're taking a different approach. We've always focused on youth, about talking about our stories, sharing our backgrounds more than anything, inspiring them to really talk about where they're from and share that proudly. In a country right now where a lot of people are keeping quiet about their immigrant roots, we say the opposite. Talk about that more than anything. Be you, be yourself. And that's part of the focus of the workshop. So we also try and introduce people from different backgrounds, introduce them to people from certain professional backgrounds, whether it be someone who is on TV, someone who is, an engineer, whatever it may be. It's about introducing these kids to beautiful success stories and putting people in a room where they are very different. Some are more conservative than others, but having everyone commingle with each other. And that's really some of the main focus of our workshops.
It is, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. And then, like he mentioned, so we're looking to expand a little bit more because so far we've shared our experience. We're talking about life from our perspective, but what about the parents? What about the elders? Because they were the ones who made the decision to come into this country, leave everything else behind, and they're the ones with the responsibility and that chip on their shoulders. So what about them? So we definitely want to make sure that we're including them as well. Just understanding and creating a safe space for them to be able to speak their mind, their emotions, because it's important to validate them as well. We can't just ignore our parents because they're the ones who sacrificed for us. So we definitely want to make sure that we encompass the entire family as a unit so that everybody feels like they can come into our workshops and decompress. That really is one of our main focuses, to help them understand and come together and know they're not alone. And there are people out there that are going through the exact same struggle, and somehow when you meet someone that has gone through similar experiences as you, it just seems like life is a little bit less hard because there's somebody that shares those struggles and understands what you're going through, so it feels a little bit easier. So we're having our next workshop, and we're very excited to just speak to these families and hopefully be able to help them and again create those professional connections for their kids as well.
Have you guys asked your parents how they felt when they first moved? Have you guys had that conversation with them, and what were the responses?
We have, and for my dad in particular, he used to walk 4 miles each way to school. He grew up in rural Mexico, and it wasn't easy. He comes from a very large family, a beautiful family, and the struggles that he's had, I even get goosebumps thinking about it, because the stuff that he had to endure is something that you don't hear about nowadays. So when he does see us talking about sharing our stories with beautiful people from people all over the world, he does get emotional because he never really realized the potential that there is in sharing a story that he would otherwise tell me to be quiet about. We grew up with him telling us, don't talk about your background. Don't talk about the struggles because people are going to look down upon you. People are not going to see you in a beautiful light. And that was instilled in me. But growing up, I was like, let me be a little rebellious. I'm like, people need to understand my personality. Because, what we see a lot in the world out there is people putting a front after front after front. We don't get to see that beautiful light shining. A lot of people dim that. And I think now more than ever, it's super important to just allow people to just show who they are more, not just superficially, but really let their heart talk and validate those feelings. And, for my dad's story, really focusing on that, he is someone that really pushed forward. He's the first in his family, as is my mom, to have come into America. Well, I came with them. We both came with them. And just thinking about the struggles growing up, I think back, and I still do get emotional, as does my dad, because we never imagined we'd be in a place where we have a certain level of a platform where we can talk about freely and confidently where we're from, what we struggled with, and hope to inspire other people. And one thing I do want to mention in that Bernice shared with us is how we didn't have really professional role models, I should say. We didn't have that. We didn't know successful people, because in Mexico, we went to a school where food was raffled off, and neither my sister and I understood what was happening. We thought it was normal for school to raffle beans, to raffle rice. We thought it was normal for kids to paint the trash, to, go pick up the trash and play, and that would be your toys, or eat dirt. We thought that was normal.
You ate dirt?
I won't go into that.
Probably at some point we did, yeah.
That was normal to us. So and that's why we do share our stories now more than ever. Because again, people look at us, they don't realize the background that we have. And it's now more important than ever to tell people, this is what immigrants look like. This is who we are. This is our beautiful story. And with the struggles that both of our parents had, they're very different from my mom's to our dad's, but I'll let Bernice talk about our moms.
Thank you, Jose. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we, at some point, even though we openly talk about our background, there are, there are moments where we still get emotional. We think about it, we talk about it. And it's not until Jose mentions, I was like, oh my goodness, I just remember, like, how did I block this from my mind? It's because life happens, you develop, you start thinking about, okay, today and whatnot. But then when you stop and you think about the story behind, it's like, oh my gosh, how did I forget about this? And yeah, same with my mom. And we don't have very many conversations that go this deep, just because, again, the emotion is very raw, it's still very present. But yeah, it was difficult. It was hard. And she comes from, a family of 5 siblings. So yeah, it wasn't easy. Her mom was very much present for them, with grandpa working and hardly ever being there for the raising of the kids. So it wasn't easy for my mom and her siblings growing up. And, it's tough. It's difficult. And sometimes, like I said, we don't get too much into details because it gets a little emotional, but it's good healing. And it's a good reminder for us, like, this is why we are here today. This is why we're pushing forward. This is why we created this nonprofit organization, because we want other people to feel and know that it is possible. Yes, there is always a solution, and yes, life will get better. And so that's just, my message to all those kids out there that are struggling. Life gets better. So, use those negative experiences that you've gone through in life and use them as fuel to push you forward.
I do have to share, though, like with mom, one thing she instilled upon us is hardcore values about taking care of other people, taking care of your elderly. It doesn't matter if they're family or not. And I was so blessed to help my grandma from her mom, from her side. I helped take care of her for, was it 6 years or so? My grandma and I were extremely close. She's someone that didn't have health care. She's someone that had renal failure, so she had to dialysis. Was supposed to get it twice a week, but without insurance here in America, it was all about how can we be resourceful, how can we navigate that system. And would literally wait up to 48 hours in the emergency room on these hard wooden chairs, and with other people there, because the only recourse that we had was her going to this type of hospital without health insurance, and we did that for years. And again, the struggle is insane. The struggle is out there. But you know what, Ben? I would not go back at all. I wouldn't. So I'm a strong believer that we go through struggles in life for a specific reason. And I think we all have a beautiful gift that we're given. And it's a matter of not resisting that, understanding what our talents are, and allowing the world to really see, hey, this is what God is putting in me to put out there. This is what the higher being wants me to do. And again, like my sister mentioned, it's about empowering people to find that talents, that leadership that's within them, no matter where they come from, no matter how hard their struggle is, no matter how different they are. And it's about collaboration. It's kind of like what we're doing now. You helping us spread the word, you assisting us with our nonprofit. We're so thankful for that, because you are a complete success story as well. And I feel so privileged to know someone like you with the beautiful heart that you have, Ben. You've accomplished so much. And I love you taking the time to meet some of the kids that we work with, because my God, we want them to see how successful people can be, how they can push hard, and how being a good person pays off more than anything.
I have 3 different thoughts, and I'm not sure which one to choose. Okay? So I'm struggling a little bit inside. But there's someone I think I want you guys to meet. She, I guess, is DACA. Is that, you guys know what DACA is?
Yes.
So she is, I think she let it lapse, and she's in this kind of weird position where she's like, I want to like move forward with it, but at the same time, if I do, especially given the current time, my mom could potentially be more harmed than her, right? Her mom gets sent back, and that's the big thing that she doesn't. That's the reason she doesn't want to move forward with, I guess, pursuing that DACA, I guess, renewal. And so I think it'd be valuable, at least maybe for her to like come to a workshop or like listen to you guys a little bit. I think that'd be a good one. And then my other thought was, it's kind of crazy that within one generation you guys have made this much of an impact. You know, like your parents were here, and then you guys are first generation Americans, right? Like Mexican American, like you guys, like not born here, but you know what I mean? Like you guys are here, and you guys are like doing some pretty cool things. And it's been a privilege to be able to work with some of the individuals at the, with you. We've had Avi here. We've had, Frank's been here in the studio. And then now we got to pay Frank on Friday. And so like,
I'm sure he's excited about that.
and it's kind of cool to give him an opportunity. And I think part of it is being around you guys, seeing that you guys are like really doing some really cool things. And there's really people out there that just want to do good work and like just live a good life. And it's that simple. And there's people out there that do have the opportunity to kind of to give back and to create those opportunities. It's just like opening your door and like doing the work. Like, yeah, it's work on my end as well. But at the end of the day, like the benefit it gives to this one individual in their lives, and it could potentially change the rest of like human, like their history is pretty amazing. Like, I think, man, he's 21 years old and he's getting paid pretty well for 21. I mean, I wasn't getting paid, but he's getting paid. And being exposed to stuff like Del Mar and like going to all these events and seeing all these people and like, you guys are exposing not just him, but like, we have a lot of people you guys are exposing to a lot of really cool just opportunities that if like when I was 10 years old growing up, I never would have even thought, like these things were real. Like what, I didn't even know that horse racing was a thing, like
you and me both.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even know. And then now we're here in Del Mar, California, watching horses race. Like and then for you guys to be able to give that to somebody else, like, fuck, dude, how cool, it's really, really neat.
Yeah, and that's the thing, exactly, Ben, like, growing up, never would I've ever imagined, number one, that I'd be sitting here with someone as successful as yourself. And so it's about, creating those spaces for people who never think they could achieve something, and seeing it in person. It just makes all the difference. So that's what keeps us going. It's just seeing how, for people to understand that there is a chance success exists and it is achievable. You can achieve that, and you can be there. And, like, I'm just thinking about myself, being my younger self. I would have been so uncomfortable just sitting just being in a classroom. I was uncomfortable because I just felt so different. Like, I feel like I didn't belong. I was, my skin color was different. My clothes were different. I didn't have the fancy tennis shoes or the clothes. So, that played a role in me feeling like I wasn't deserving of success. Like an office job was just unthinkable for me, So being in a platform where we can expose people to these situations and to successful people, it just brings a whole new light into their lives. And I wish I would have had somebody taking me into those places early on, because I would have felt more comfortable like way back then. But yeah, that's exactly what keeps us pushing forward. It's just for people to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and success can be theirs.
I didn't even know like you could there's so many things that I didn't like. There weren't opportunities outside of just like you become a teacher, you become a cop. Like I thought those were the only two options. And then I finally left home and I was like, oh, like you can buy and sell homes. Like you can do real estate. You can do drywall. You can start a business. You can do a nonprofit. Like I didn't even know any of these things existed. And so I think that, you expose kids to just that idea, like, oh wow, well maybe I can. Maybe they find a new way to do a new business, and then because of that, they change an industry, right?
Yeah.
Like just because they were introduced to it early on enough and had enough experience, like it's frustrating, but at the same time, I would not be here without the lack of knowing and having to figure out along the way. But it would have been nice to have somebody definitely like, hey, these are all the opportunities out there, or these are more than 5 of them, and you can do it. Like I never thought that even that school was for people like me. I never thought I could
Bingo.
even go to school,
Yeah.
right? Like I could never think, oh, I'm going to apply to Harvard. No, Harvard's not for people like me. It's for people that are, maybe of a different color or a different net worth. And we grew up and we didn't have that crazy net worth. And then so it was never even a thought. But then you realize, oh, there's scholarship and then there's this and then there's like, there's ways to do it. Like there really are a lot of opportunities out there. It's just learning how to do it.
And what I love about Nevada is that it's such a tight-knit community, honestly. We've established some extremely amazing connections with some beautiful people, and we're getting a lot of support. Now, the whole idea is what we're doing here in Nevada is to have it reach a certain level where it makes sense, where it's efficient, where it's really involving the whole community, no matter where you stand on politically or any situation. It's about empowering individuals to be the better versions of themselves. The whole idea, we are working very closely with the CEO of Catholic Charities as well as the CEO of Moonrich Group, who've been amazing. The whole idea is to replicate what we do here across the United States. What we're thinking, it's not something small. It's not something to do on our time off, which we don't have time off now that I think about it at all. We're always busy. We have so many projects happening at the same time. But what matters here is that we create a beautiful movement across the country that makes sense. Where again, it's about empowering people to speak up, heal, because we have to heal as a nation. And, we invite people to join this movement that we have, honestly. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, follow our journey. It's all about how we can collaborate together to create something that makes sense, something that heals people. Because one thing about us, Ben, it's, there's a misconception about handouts or taking an approach where it's not really inspiring people to be self-sufficient. I am not any of that. My sister and I are very structured. We're all about instilling disciplines. It's all about having a calendar, about being efficient and really working in a way that makes sense where you're uplifting yourself more than anything. A lot of organizations just focus on giving you something that is basic. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to do that. We're here to literally help heal people, provide them with the tools necessary to be success stories. And whenever we work with any youth, we tell them, we ask of one thing from you. That's for you to pay it forward. We want you to be a success story. We'll provide you with the resources or the connections to make that happen, but you have to be able to pay it forward. We want you to come back to our workshops, talk about your success stories, talk about your journey, and, really inspire other people to do it as well. There's so much knowledge out there. There's so much information, so many resources. It's a matter of collaborations, putting everything in one room and really encouraging people to not miss deadlines, to not let opportunities go because you don't feel ready. Guess what? You're never going to be ready. When an opportunity knocks on your door, you take it. You make it work. Doesn't matter how insecure you are. Doesn't matter how bad your situation is. You take it, you run, and you move forward. We're all here in America for a specific reason. It's about, loving that culture that we now have. It's about embracing those difficult situations that we run through, because we do run through, all these road, what should I call it? All these, I'm thinking Spanish now for a second.
Do it. Say it in Spanish.
All these roadblocks.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay.
All these roadblocks, but that's how beautiful our life is. People, sometimes come across a roadblock and they think that's the end. It's not. Oftentimes it's a direction into a beautiful, different, road that we never even imagined. I never thought about doing what I'm doing, anything professionally. I never saw myself being part of the co-chair for Lee Business School at UNLV. I never thought I would be doing any of this, honestly. But one thing I will tell you, I don't resist the process. I do take opportunities as they come, and I never feel ready. But that's the beauty of things, evolving and learning as I go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Man, I'm telling you.
Inspiring.
We're gonna see you running for something, I feel like, in the next several years.
We'll see.
I mean,
Stay tuned.
yeah, you're always welcome to come back on. We'll talk about it when you're here again.
I appreciate
That'd be
that,
fucking
Ben.
cool, man.
Thank you.
So you guys have a workshop coming up. This episode gets released on Friday. And
perfect.
so where is it and what are the details?
Well, it's going to be at the Howard Hughes location for the UNLV EMBA classes, and it's going to be at 10:30 in the morning.
Beautiful. And then anybody can go.
Yeah, it's open. It's
open to the
everyone.
community.
Yeah.
It's open to the community. And we always tell people, follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Just look up Orozco Siblings.
Okay. Can you spell that?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that, actually. It's Orozco. It's O-R-O-Z as in zebra, C as in corporate, O as in Oscar, and then the word siblings. Orozco Siblings.
C as in corporate.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard anybody say C as in corporate. It's always like C as in Charlie. C as in corporate, man. You're deep in the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's all about promoting success stories, right? And getting comfortable with that, too.
It was nice to see, I guess, was the last workshop that I went to, was that Orozco Siblings or was that Catholic Charities related?
It was a collaboration of both. Now, this one that we're hosting this Saturday, it's Orozco Siblings.
Okay. And that one I really enjoyed. It was nice to see several different individuals. I'm going to forget his name, but engineer, what's his name?
Jack Levitt, absolutely amazing individual.
Jack's speech, I think, was really, really good. I think also RJ, I mean, everybody was really good.
Yeah.
But I think that especially RJ, like, what a charismatic dude.
Right.
Holy crap, dude. Holy shit.
Amazing.
He's crazy. I still haven't texted him, and that's my fault. But I will. I promise you. I haven't.
He was away recording for HSN.
Huh?
He was away recording last week for HSN.
What is HSN?
Home Shopping Network.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, because he's the face for the family's brand. Yeah.
I mean, he's a good looking dude. So,
Sure is.
yeah, he's clean cut. I mean, he's
He'll love
cool.
hearing this.
It's cool, man. And then is the goal to do like one a month? Is that the...
That's going to be the goal. We've received such a beautiful level of attention from, very talented individuals, including some very prominent journalists across the country, as well as some amazing professors at UNLV that want to partake in this. So the whole idea is to see how this evolves, how we can do different types of workshops, whether like focusing on finance, how to do better finance, on workshops on how to be just more confident, like really have it be more focused. But, we welcome everyone to really come join us and support us, inspire us, and create a movement that we can copy and paste across the United States.
I want there to be a health one, selfishly.
I love
I
that.
love
We
that.
hadn't
Yeah,
thought
that's
about
great.
that,
No,
actually.
No, we haven't. And this is why collaboration is so important because, we have something in mind, but then you get other ideas. Like you said, for health, that's amazing. That's something that we can certainly incorporate. And I'm sure people will definitely take advantage of that.
September.
Yeah?
We need to, us need to talk about that. Let's do it in September. I love that.
We can host it at the gym. I mean, we can host it wherever you want. But, like, I think we can get, like, some nutritionists. I think people have a hard time coming to the States, from what I've understood, and then having the quote unquote right diet, right? Like there's food that's so accessible all the time, and I think if you grow up in a situation where food isn't always necessarily guaranteed, then typically you see individuals overconsume because they don't know when their next meal is going to come back, right? There's a very famous psychological study, or there's a very famous study about this, So if you can teach people like, hey, this is really what you like, do you have a lot of access? And then this is kind of the roadmap on how to eat well. And so you don't end up leading into diabetes or just unhealthy habits. Alcoholism is very popular whenever you come across, because there's so many emotions you don't have to deal with things. So then how do you handle that? Like you can get, and how do you move your body, right? I think that's like, it's a beautiful thing to learn how to do. And like, it also gives you a sense of individuality or control. Like I can go outside and I go for a run, do some push-ups, do some squats. Like at the very least, if I'm feeling like shit, I can go outside and I can always like, I am in control of my own life and I can do this here.
Love that.
That's powerful.
Yes.
I never thought about it, Ben. This is why it's so important for us to get out there, talk with people, be inspired and collaborate more than anything. Yes, please. Let's make that happen, my friend.
Cool.
Would love that.
I like it. I like it a lot. Where do people find you guys? What's any closing thoughts? What you guys got?
Well, they can find us online, so orozcosiblings.org, and they can find us on LinkedIn. Again, orozcosiblings.org. So that's our whole name, and on Instagram.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, my friend. We really appreciate you. We encourage everyone to really follow us, join our movement. Let's create something beautiful, because why not?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.